Breaking news out of East Tulsa, where firefighters have been working through explosions to fight a massive fire after two semis crashed in East Tulsa. Good afternoon, I'm Tiffany Alaniz. We first told you about the trucks that caught fire and exploded on I-44 eastbound, just on the other side of Highway 169 overpass around 10:30 this morning. Fox 23's Rick Marinon was the first reporter on the ground near the fire. He joins us live now. And Rick, the roads are still closed and you're getting a first look at some of the damage at the bridge.
Yeah, that semi is still smoldering, but the question is, what do they do with this now? This appears to be part of the oversized load that is wedged under Highway 169. ODOT confirms with me there is damage to some of the beams and the columns out here, but they are right now evaluating the structural integrity of everything. In addition to this oversized load, there is also a pickup truck wedged, and there are two burned semis just on the other side of this bridge that we have shown you all morning. There were explosions as tires were on board. We were just driving to another story when we were pulling under this bridge to get on 169 from I-44 when boom, everything exploded. You can see in our video just how big the flames were, and the smoke was even bigger. A lot of people could see this smoke from around the Tulsa area as far as Catoosa and Broken Arrow to the east. Right now, everyone is urged to stay away from I-44 and 169 while they figure this out. At one point, we asked them how hot did this fire get when it came to what they needed to do. They switched over from water to foam, and here is what fire crews explained to us about why this thing will continue to smolder for a while to come.
The hazmat crews are here, so they'll make sure that, we can clean this up properly without putting anybody in any additional danger. Once we get a situation, the immediate danger taken care of, then we need to slow down and make sure that we're not putting our crews in any unnecessary risks. While it is an inconvenience, to have a road shut down, we definitely don't want to put any emergency crews in unnecessary harm.
And again, the question now is, what do they do with this thing in the middle of the eastbound lanes of I-44? It looks like one lane westbound. You are going to have to drive on the exit ramp to head westbound on I-44, and that is going to take you forever. Find alternate routes until further notice, likely through the evening commute, because with the way this thing is wedged up under here, it looks like they're going to have to cut this out some way. And also, ODOT is still evaluating the bridge itself. So we will continue to monitor the situation, have another update for you in 30 minutes, including hearing from the neighbors who live just less than a block away who thought they were coming under some kind of attack because of the multiple booms. We will have the latest for you in 30 minutes live in East Tulsa. Covering news that matters, I'm Rick Marinon, Fox 23 News.
We are following breaking news, fire explosions, a bridge damaged, and a huge mess left behind. Look at this. We've been showing you the damage done on I-44 eastbound, just on the other side of the Highway 169. Fox 23's Rick Marinon is live this afternoon with new reaction from eyewitnesses and what investigators on that scene are telling him now. Rick.
Tiffany, we knew that these trucks had exploded multiple times, but this is the hood of one of those rigs. I'm not sure if it was the one carrying the tires that's still smoldering or the oversized load that hit it, but the tires continue to smolder out here, which is why the eastbound lanes of I-44 remain closed, in addition to an oversized load that is stuck underneath. Take a look at the video of these flames. People could see the smoke for miles, and I can tell you the good news out here is the nightmare has partially dissipated out here, because the westbound lanes of I-44 are open as well as the northbound lanes, but we have been told only minor injuries with this, despite how bad it looked and even sounded. It was equivalent to some of the most powerful fireworks you can imagine on the 4th of July with the booms these people were hearing in their neighborhood. We spoke with one neighbor who lives just on the other side of the cloverleaf that I'm standing on, where there is a neighborhood just south and east of the scene. Here is how he describes these early moments out here as the flames were just overtaking these vehicles.
And I heard like boom, 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 like some metal dropping. By me being a welder, I know what it sounds like when metal hit concrete. So I'm like, dang, that sounds like metal. So I got up and I looked out my window and I see the semi two semis in the accident. So I comes outside and start going towards that way. As I'm going that way, I see smoke starting to come up, and a big old fire came out of nowhere. Just start burning.
And what you're looking at right now is the big question is, what is that, and how are they going to get it unwedged from underneath the South 169 bridge? That is why the southbound lanes remain closed. Northbound bridge is fine, but ODOT has inspected this bridge, and they are going to have to figure out how to get the oversized load that is a part of this accident unstuck. Will they have to cut it? Whatnot. This will take hours to fix. So if you need to head east on I-44 or south on 169, find an alternate route. It's going to be this way for a while now. The only people who have been allowed east are these big rig semi drivers who were unable to make a U-turn or get back onto the exit ramp because they had already gone too far when traffic started to close. But the good news out here, minor injuries only. There was the report of the possibly missing person. Once everything died down, they were able to account for everyone. We will have the latest for you, including the status of the 169 bridge, on Fox 23 News at 5 o'clock. Reporting live in East Tulsa, covering news that matters, I'm Rick Marin on Fox 23 News.
This fiery crash and multiple explosions that led to big traffic backups in East Tulsa lasting most of the day. We broke into programming around 10:30 this morning to tell you about the crash between two semis and a pickup truck on I-44 eastbound under and near the Highway 169 bridge. We have team coverage for you, including what it takes to fight fires like this. Well, let's start with Fox 23's Rick Marinon reporting live with just how close he was when this happened. Rick.
Shay, we were driving right here on what is supposed to be an exit lane so you can get on the clover leaves. Just as we got to the other side of the bridge, that is when everything went boom, and that is when the first of many explosions began. As if the crash itself didn't have a big enough bang to it, the cargo in one semi exploded multiple times, releasing smoke that could be seen for miles.
Minor injuries. No one was transported to the hospital, so that's good.
Tulsa fireman Andy Little says preliminary reports are the crash started with an oversized load that became wedged under the 169 bridge, and the pickup trailing it collided with it. From there, another semi hit the first one that just lost its load and caught fire. As the fire consumed the second semi's trailer holding tires, that's when those tires began to explode.
I was in the house watching the news, and I heard like boom, 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 boom.
Neighbors like Ramon Pearson say the explosion shook their houses, and they rushed outside to see what was happening. Some of them were on scene so early that they were the first calls to 911.
As I'm going that way, I see smoke starting to come up, and a big old fire came out of nowhere.
Tulsa fire crews say they went from using water to foam to get everything put out.
Foam kind of can penetrate and form a layer over a barrier, if you will, that keeps that fire from reigniting.
Once the firing mess was put out, the question remained, what do you do with the oversized load jammed under Highway 169? The 169 southbound bridge was also visibly damaged from the crash. ODOT engineers say they will continue to evaluate it, especially after the oversized load wedged underneath it is cut out. And that oversized load is still stuck under the bridge here. They can't exactly just yank it free because they don't want to damage the bridge anymore. But as far as the traffic goes out here just in time for rush hour, everything except the eastbound I-44 lanes are open. Everything except eastbound I-44 is open. Eastbound I-44 traffic, you can still use it, but it is along this exit ramp here that will get you around this bridge, and I can tell you it'll take you about 15 to 20 minutes. If you have some time to kill, by all means use this. Otherwise, take another route. Reporting live in East Tulsa, covering news that matters, I'm Rick Marin on Fox 23 News.
Now back to our continuing coverage of this big rig crash and explosion on I-44 at 169. We've been covering this story since 10:30 this morning, and we showed you these massive flames and smoke and how the fire affected traffic, causing a miles-long backup. Well, Fox 23's Rick Marinon is live after talking with people who witnessed this explosion. Rick.
Just on the other side of this bridge, there's actually a neighborhood on that other side. Those people actually heard the explosion before we pulled up on the scene, and it exploded again.
I was in the house watching the news, and I heard Like boom, 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 boom.
The 4th of July is a week away, but for neighbors like Ramon Pearson near I-44 and Highway 169, they got their fill of explosions Thursday.
As I'm going that way, I see smoke starting to come up, and a big old fire came out of nowhere.
Ramon and his neighbors were some of the first to see the aftermath of this accident. First responders say a semi carrying an oversized load was too big to go under the Highway 169 bridge. The load was wedged under the bridge, and the trailing pickup truck behind it collided with the load. That's when another semi hauling tires hit the semi pulling the oversized load and shortly after caught fire. The fire soon engulfed the semi-trailer full of tires, and they began to explode from the heat.
Minor injuries. No one was transported to the hospital, so that's good.
Tulsa fireman Andy Little says fire crews had to switch from water to foam because some of the items were so hot that water was barely having an impact.
Foam kind of can penetrate and form a layer over a barrier, if you will, that keeps that fire from reigniting.
But once the flames were out, another problem remained. The 169 bridge appeared damaged, and ODOT engineers examined it before reopening it. The oversized cargo load is still wedged under the bridge, blocking all eastbound lanes of I-44 until they cut it free.
Anytime there's contact made with the bridge, someone, should determine the structural integrity.
They've made a lot of progress taking that thing down, but they still have a long way to go because it is such a large metallic thing. It looks like they're trying to take it apart piece by piece or even rip it apart. But in addition to that, I see more burned out truck parts out here. So I would give them a few more hours at least before the full eastbound lanes of I-44 are open again. You see this eastbound traffic here. This is an exit ramp, but it does take you through. If you have 15 to 20 minutes to kill or you just have free time, by all means, get in the traffic jam. If not, find an alternate route. Reporting live in East Tulsa, covering news that matters, I'm Rick Marin on Fox 23 News.